I wanted to show you how I made my latest song, London Fog, by using a grounding element that sticks with you throughout the entire song and drives you. So there are 5 elements to this song. Bass, drums, keys, vocals, and then samples and effects. I'll group those together. So the main thing in this song is the bass. You can hear it right when the song starts over here. Finger static. This thing right here, this thing is very key to the whole song. In fact, there's not a part of the song that it doesn't exist except for the 2, maybe 1.5 second drops that occur in the song. London fog in the mid. So it started off originally as, which is in G major, and that's not the key we're in. Transpose the key up, so we're in A flat, and then I'm modulating it in between as well, and then changing the chord throughout. So I knew that I wanted to keep this thing all throughout the song. Writing around it was kind of the prerogative the whole time. Shout out to my younger sibling who actually wrote all the lyrics on this. I wrote the melody. So once we had that down, I went and found this drum loop. But the drums couldn't just be that. That would just be very fucking boring, and that's not my style. So I wanted to create a drop. I took that exact sampled drum and I filtered it. God, some of that feels huge, you know? Kick. Snare. Break. Some serious knock on that shit. I knew that when this dropped, it had to do something crazy. It's going to drop into the bass being slightly heavier like this. Super distorted version of V. But I found this sample of an Indian instrument, which I think is way sicker. And I actually stuck it in the drum mix. You know, it has a distortion on it. It has overdrive distortion on it, and I thought it sounded cool. Obviously had some keys that I wanted to add myself. So one of the main things is this sort of this piano that we have here. And then we go to the hook, and we have these big, kind of aggressive, jumpy synths. Sounds really terrifying. And then we also have this one doubling up on it. That's what's happening in the hook, aside from the bass and the drums. I almost forgot. We have my favorite element in this. It's this synth bend over here. I didn't even fade it, so it is definitely clipping in there. Here it is with the hook. Very important element to me. Aside from that, we have this synth. I kind of wanted something to just feel really like cyberpunky in there. So I just made this. And then we have. And you guys just heard the last element, which is the vocals. I went simpler than I usually do on this song as far as vocal production goes. The verses are just straight up lead vocals. Finger static in the blurred glass. I'm not one to usually tout my own, horn. One of my favorite vocal mixes I've ever done. Maybe some, I think some slight bust out reverb. And then when the hook comes in, we have left, right, and center. Oh, I've got to go home. I'll see what's waiting over the river. And then we have some harmonies. See what's waiting over the river. Then I have a printed out reverb with a vocal reverb. As far as other vocals go, a lot of it, like the outro and stuff, I'm doing a lot of auxiliary stuff. So when you hear the post-hook drop, this is in the back. Just giving it some life behind it, nothing too intense. And then the hook drops again right after the first hook, which is weird. It's a weird structure, but it doesn't matter. It feels grounded because we had the bass. But we'll get back to that. Hook comes back in a second time. You hear this lead vocal. This is a different take, and I added a little run. It's an extra note in there. So it differentiates it a little bit. And then it's backed up by these gang vocals, which, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these gang vocals in the back doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Wanted to give it that bathroom Dijon mix that everyone is on these days. And then we have the outro vocal here, which is very similar mix, slightly more affected. I couldn't just let that be dry. So there's a distorted echo layer here. Right at the end of the song, there's some oohs to carry us out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all there is in the song. The only thing that's keeping the song interesting for listeners is taking these 5 elements and moving and shifting them around in ways that it makes sense. So when we first start off, we have very few things happening here. Finger static. And then when it drops, the first time, you hear the first explosion. And then we'll bring the energy down again for the second verse. Then by the time the hook comes around, which is about like 6 bars, you're ready for another moment or explosion. So we give you a full dropout where you can only hear the vocal and then it explodes right back into that groove. Hands past the gear, London fog in the mirror. Not only is it dropping back into the full groove with more instruments, it's also a different chord. So regardless of a lot of repetitive things happening throughout the song, it's either the beat structure or the chord structure changing every 6 to 8 bars that gives you a sort of like sense of like everything I'm hearing is new. Even though there's really not that much happening, only 5 or 6 things happening at once. Once again, we get this sample. But this time, it's a little more built out. It's a little more thought out. There's more elements. And then we drop out entirely. We'll give you a break from the drums. Then for the outro of the song, we bring back in the original feel of the intro to give it a cyclical sort of feeling. The sample. And then the song ends on a sort of sweet goodbye. Once again, with the bass. There's not a single part of the song that doesn't have that bass sample. So yeah, that's what I just want to show you guys how I made that. Obviously, it's out now. Go stream it if you haven't. Remember to keep a grounded element in your song so that your songwriting and beat structure doesn't get lost. And make sure it's a good sound. As always, take all my advice with a grain of salt. I'm just a dude. Thanks for watching. Peace.